The sun had been merciless that afternoon, hanging low and heavy in a sky that felt like fire. My shirt clung to my back, soaked through, and every step along the gravel road felt heavier than the last. My hands were rough from the day's labor, hauling broken furniture, patching torn fences, doing whatever work the town could spare for a man just trying to start over. I wiped the sweat from my brow and leaned against a crooked wooden post, watching the horizon blur and shimmer in the heat. That's when I heard a soft voice behind me. "You can rest here a while," she said. I turned. An elderly woman stood by her gate, her silver hair pulled into a loose bun, her face lined like folded paper. She was holding a glass of lemonade that caught the sunlight like gold. I hesitated. "Ma'am, I don't want to trouble you. I'm just passing through." "Nonsense," she said, motioning me over. "The road's too long to walk on pride alone." Her house looked like something from another time, white paint peeling, a rocking chair on the porch, a row of daisies bending in the wind. I followed her through the creaking gate, each step feeling oddly familiar, as if I had walked this path once before. Inside, the air smelled of bread and lilac. She set the lemonade in front of me and said, "You look like you've been carrying more than just your tools." I smiled faintly. "Been a rough year, I guess. Lost my job. My wife left soon after. Been working where I can, sleeping where I find space." She nodded, her eyes full of quiet understanding. "Life can take everything but your kindness," she said. "Keep that, and you'll never be empty." I didn't know what to say. I sipped the lemonade, cold and sharp, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. Then she asked softly, "Where are you headed?" "North," I said. "Heard there's work at the mill near Mason Creek." She smiled wistfully. "My husband worked there once. Hard man, but good. He used to say the same thing, just heading north." For a while, we sat in silence, just listening to the ticking clock and the soft hum of the wind. Then, as I looked around, my eyes landed on a framed photo on the mantel. A younger version of the woman stood beside a tall man in overalls, and a boy who looked eerily like me. I leaned closer, my heart skipping. "That boy." She followed my gaze. "That's my son. He left home years ago. Said he'd find work up north. Never heard from him again." Her voice trembled on that last word. My throat tightened. I wanted to tell her that I knew what it was like, to walk away from everything, thinking you'd come back when life made sense again. But sometimes, it never does. Instead, I said, "He looks like he was kind." Her eyes glistened. He was. I finished the drink and stood up, thanking her for her kindness. But as I turned to leave, she reached out and pressed something into my hand, a small, worn-out handkerchief embroidered with the initials J.R. "For the road," she said. "Anne. If you ever see a man who looks lost, tell him his mother still keeps the porch light on." I couldn't speak. I just nodded and walked out into the fading light, her words following me like a quiet prayer. That night, I camped beneath the stars, the handkerchief clutched in my palm. And for the first time in years, I whispered a promise to the dark. When I find my place again, I'll build something worth coming home to. Months passed. I got the job at the mill, worked hard, saved what I could. The faces there became family, the rhythm of honest work my new heartbeat. But I never forgot the woman by the gate, or the warmth of her words. A year later, I took a detour on my day off, back down that long, sunburnt road. Her house stood the same, though the daisies had grown taller. I knocked softly. No answer. A neighbor stepped out and said gently, "She passed a few weeks ago." Peacefully, in her sleep. Always said she was waiting for her boy to come home. I stood there, silent, the world spinning in slow circles around me. Then I took out the handkerchief, folded neat and safe in my pocket, and placed it on her porch railing beneath the glowing light she'd always kept burning. She found him, I whispered. Maybe not in the way she expected, but she did. As I walked away, the breeze picked up, carrying the scent of lilac and bread again. And for the first time, I didn't feel lost anymore. Because sometimes, the kindest souls don't just offer you rest, they give you a reason to keep going.